Hello there, and welcome to Deep Space Sleep. I'm grateful that you're here, settling into this gentle space where the world above fades and the deep ocean begins to open around you. Long before ships crossed the seas, long before maps were drawn or coastlines had names, the deep ocean was already breathing in its slow, ancient rhythm. Sunlight faded layer by layer, pressure rose like a quiet embrace, and strange, soft creatures drifted through endless darkness without hurry. Down here, the water thickens into velvet blue. Light dissolves into soft gradients of shadow. Every movement slows. Jelly-like beings pulse in calm arcs. Small fish glide without sound. Tiny sparks of bioluminescence flicker like distant stars, appearing and fading with the gentlest motion. Nothing rushes in the deep sea, there is no need. Life here has survived by patience, by silence, by drifting along ancient paths carved by time itself. For millions of years, deep-sea creatures have existed in a world without noise, without light, and without the frantic pace of the surface. They learned to flow with slow currents, to wait for drifting food, to glow softly instead of shouting for attention. Their bodies adapted to the deep the way thoughts soften when the mind grows quiet. Even predators move with grace, gliding instead of chasing, hovering rather than lunging, feeling rather than seeing. And now, as you sync with them, nothing will rush you, nothing will pull you forward. You're simply drifting through a cosmic darkness that feels warm, steady, and endlessly calm. Imagine yourself descending through quiet blue, deeper and deeper, past shimmering plankton, past glowing ribbons of jelly, into a serene world where time itself seems to stretch. Down here, your breath slows, your thoughts loosen, your body feels supported, as though the water carries every bit of weight for you. If you'd like, you can share where you're listening from tonight, or what the deep sea feels like in your imagination. Your words help other dreamers sink gently into this shared quiet. For now, let yourself drift. Let the darkness soften. Let the deep sea surround you like a lullaby made of water and silence. Let's begin. Faint blue light guides early deep-sea drifters, creating the last gentle glow before darkness fully takes over. As sunlight filters downward, it stretches into long, soft beams that fade into pale cobalt and dusky indigo. Creatures rising from deeper layers sense this dim illumination and drift toward it with unhurried motion. The water feels thicker here, but calm, almost as if the ocean is exhaling. Small particles shimmer as they pass through the faint blue light, turning each drift into something slow and dreamlike. Fish and gelatinous bodies float effortlessly, following the glow not as a destination but as a soothing presence. This fragile, fading light becomes the first invitation into the deep, helping every creature ease into the darker world below. Letting your thoughts follow that gentle descent brings the same quiet softening, like drifting through a doorway of blue calm. Lanternfish shimmer in gentle bioluminescent pulses, their tiny bodies flickering like scattered stars drifting between layers of fading light. Each pulse feels soft and deliberate, never rushed, illuminating just enough of the water for nearby creatures to sense their presence. These fish rise at dusk in enormous numbers, forming slow-moving clouds that ripple with small, synchronized glows. Their light is never harsh. It is a whisper of brightness, fading almost as quickly as it appears. They glide in fluid arcs, conserving energy, their scales catching both the last hints of sunlight and their own quiet luminescence. The entire scene feels like a galaxy unfolding underwater, each shimmering point part of a larger, peaceful rhythm. Allowing your mind to rest in that shimmering field brings a sense of drifting among underwater stars. Jellyfish float like slow underwater lanterns, their translucent bells pulsing in steady, graceful rhythms that barely disturb the water around them. Each pulse sends them drifting upward or downward with effortless motion, as though the sea itself carries them gently along invisible paths. Soft light from above filters through their bodies, making them glow faintly, while their trailing tentacles flow behind them like delicate silk. They gather in loose, drifting groups, moving so quietly that they seem more like drifting thoughts than animals. In the twilight zone, their gentle shapes brighten the dim surroundings, creating a slow dance of light and shadow. Watching their calm, drifting motion brings your own breath into a similar rhythm, steady, deep, and unhurried, as if you too are floating through quiet water. Comb jellies scatter rainbow-colored glows as they move, each ciliary row catching faint light and breaking it into shimmering flashes of soft color. Their bodies, completely transparent, ripple gently with every motion, creating waves of shifting iridescence that drift down into deeper darkness. These colors are not bright or loud. They appear like soft ribbons or whispers of light sliding across their gelatinous forms. Comb jellies move slowly through the twilight zone, turning and drifting as though listening to the water around them. Their movement requires almost no effort, and their rainbow glimmers appear and fade with the same quiet ease. Observing this gentle play of color feels like watching ambient light drift across glass, creating a calm, mesmerizing rhythm. Silvery fish glide through soft twilight water, their smooth bodies catching the last traces of fading sunlight and reflecting them in muted, metallic flashes. These reflections shimmer briefly before blending back into the blue gloom, making the fish appear and disappear in slow, ghost-like motions. They travel in loose formations, never tightly packed, drifting instead in gentle arcs that mirror the shape of the water's movement. The stillness of the twilight zone encourages them to glide rather than swim, conserving energy in long, flowing stretches. Their scales shift from silver to gray to soft blue as they move between light pockets and shadow. Watching their subtle, gliding paths brings a sense of slipping effortlessly through the dimming sea, following quiet shapes into deeper calm. Transparent creatures drift in calm blue haze, their bodies blending so effortlessly with the water that they seem like moving pieces of the twilight itself. Their gelatinous forms catch the faintest hints of remaining light, making them glimmer softly as they rise and fall with gentle currents. Every motion they make is slow, subtle, almost imperceptible, more like a shift in the water than the action of an animal. Their transparency protects them, but it also gives them a dreamlike presence, as though they exist halfway between light and shadow, drifting through the calm blue. They resemble floating thoughts, weightless and quiet. Watching them move invites your mind into the same tranquil state, drifting freely without needing to hold on to anything at all. Early predators move with slow evening rhythms, emerging just as the last blue light slips away. Though they are hunters, their movements are unhurried, shaped by the deep seas, need to conserve every bit of energy. They glide instead of chase, hover instead of rush, sensing tiny vibrations rather than relying on sight. In the dim twilight, their shapes blend into shifting shadows, giving them an almost serene presence. Their hunting is patient, more waiting than acting, more drifting than pursuing. Even their bodies seem tuned to quiet, moving with soft precision that disturbs nothing around them. Observing their calm, measured motions feels like watching a quiet ritual, a dance held in slow motion that gently guides your thoughts towards stillness. Schools of tiny fish flicker like dim stars, each one reflecting a soft point of light that glimmers briefly before fading into the surrounding blue. When they move together, these tiny flashes ripple through the water like a soft sparkle sweeping across a nighttime sky. Their schooling behavior is graceful rather than frantic. They shift direction in smooth unison, creating flowing patterns that mimic the gentle movement of ocean currents. The light they give off is never bright, it is subtle, quiet, comforting. From a distance, the entire school looks like a drifting constellation, moving slowly through the twilight zone. Letting your mind follow their faint, star-like flickers brings a sense of floating among underwater galaxies. Soft-bodied drifters follow the fading light, rising slowly from deeper waters as the last hints of daylight filter downward. Their movements depend entirely on the calm currents around them, their delicate bodies riding the gentle upward pull toward the twilight glow. They stretch and contract with slow, rhythmic pulses that feel almost like breathing. These drifters do not hurry. They simply follow the light because it offers warmth, safety, and nourishment. Their translucent shapes glow faintly as they approach the illuminated layers, becoming soft silhouettes in the dim blue. Watching their peaceful ascent encourages your own thoughts to rise gently, like drifting upward toward a comforting glow. Faint silhouettes hover in peaceful motion, their outlines barely visible against the deepening twilight. These creatures do not swim with force. They suspend themselves effortlessly, letting the density of the water support their bodies. Each small shift in current moves them slightly, creating a soft, floating rhythm that feels more like drifting than traveling. Their shapes, long, slender forms or rounded bodies, remain calm and steady, as though resting in a cradle made of quiet blue. They embody the serenity of the twilight zone, neither rising nor sinking quickly, simply existing in a state of tranquil suspension. Observing their hovering presence invites your mind to settle into stillness, like finding a moment where the world stops moving and simply holds you. Siphonophores stretch into gentle drifting chains that glide through the midwater zone like delicate living ribbons. Though they look like a single creature, each chain is made of countless tiny units working together in complete harmony. Their bodies glow faintly, with bioluminescent pulses that travel slowly along their length, creating waves of soft light that drift through the blue darkness. They move without effort, letting calm currents carry them forward, downward, or sideways depending on the water's slow rhythms. Their long, thread-like forms sway gracefully, responding to the slightest movement around them. Watching a siphonophore drift is like watching a slow-moving constellation fluid, endless and quiet. Letting your mind follow their unbroken lines invites a sense of deep continuity, as though each moment gently links to the next without interruption. Hatchetfish reflect light like floating starlight, their thin, silvery bodies catching even the faintest glow that filters down from above. They angle themselves carefully to mirror the dim light, making their outlines almost disappear into the surrounding water. This reflective camouflage allows them to hover safely in the midwater zone, drifting in calm, subtle motions that never break the stillness. Their large, upward-facing eyes absorb the last remnants of twilight, giving them a soft, distant gleam. When they move, it is with delicate flicks, sending shimmering reflections outward like quiet sparks. These tiny flashes appear and fade so gently that they resemble stars winking slowly across a nighttime sea. Observing their quiet glimmers brings a sense of drifting through a peaceful sky suspended underwater. Slow-moving squid glide with fluid softness, their arms trailing behind them like drifting strands of silk. They move by gently pulsing water through their mantle, creating slow, rhythmic motions that push them forward without disturbance. Their bodies shift colors subtly, responding to the faint light of the midwater zone with soft blues, deep purples, and muted silvers. Rather than darting or chasing, these squid prefer to hover, drift, and explore, conserving energy in a world where every moment must be deliberate. Their gentle motion makes them appear almost weightless, like floating moons drifting across a calm ocean sky. Watching them glide invites your breath to match their smooth, repeating rhythm, creating a sense of fluid calm that settles deeply within you. Deep shrimp paddle in delicate motions, using their small appendages to propel themselves forward with a softness that barely stirs the water around them. Each movement is controlled and minimal, shaped by the need to conserve energy in the vast midwater zone. Their bodies glow faintly with internal light, giving them a gentle presence as they drift through the dimness. Sometimes they pulse upward in short bursts, then return to a steady, peaceful glide, allowing the currents to do most of the work. Their movements resemble quiet gestures, tiny, careful strokes that keep them suspended in a world of soft blue shadows. Watching their delicate paddling invites your thoughts to settle into smaller, more manageable rhythms, like gentle taps guiding you deeper into rest. Pelagic worms drift in graceful spirals, their long, slender bodies twisting gently as they move through the midwater zone. Some shimmer with iridescent colors that shift subtly as they rotate, while others glow with bioluminescent sparks that travel the length of their bodies in slow waves. These spirals are not hurried, they unfold with a lazy elegance that feels perfectly matched to the deep ocean's calm. The worms allow currents to guide their direction, conserving effort while maintaining their mesmerizing motion. Each spiral seems like a soft signature written in the water, appearing, dissolving, and reforming as they drift. Watching their gentle, swirling paths brings a sense of floating through soft, looping thoughts, where nothing presses, nothing rushes, and everything turns slowly toward a deeper calm. Midwater fish conserve energy through stillness, learning to hover in place rather than waste precious effort in constant swimming. In this part of the ocean, food drifts unpredictably, and every motion must be carefully measured. These fish position their bodies so that the water supports them almost entirely, allowing them to maintain balance with only the slightest fin adjustments. Their stillness is not inactivity, but a quiet readiness, a way of listening to the faint vibrations that echo through the deep. When they do move, it's slow and controlled, more like sliding than swimming. Their silhouettes blend with the surrounding blue, making them appear as calm, suspended shadows. Watching their peaceful stillness invites your mind into the same quiet space, reminding you how rest can be both purposeful and deeply soothing. Gelatinous animals barely disturb the water, their soft, delicate bodies gliding through the deep like drifting pieces of cloud. Made mostly of water themselves, they move with a softness that seems almost impossible. No splashes, no abrupt changes, just slow, steady drifting. Their transparent forms catch dim blue light and bend it gently, creating soft glimmers that fade instantly as they pass. Every pulse or contraction of their bodies produces a ripple so subtle that it blends back into the water almost immediately. Because they move without force, they leave no wake, no trail, no sign of effort. Observing their near weightless motion feels like watching thoughts dissolve into calm, as if nothing could disturb the stillness surrounding them. Soft-bodied hunters drift instead of chase, mastering the art of patience in a world where energy must be preserved. They hover silently in the midwater, bodies relaxed, tentacles or jaws poised to react only when absolutely necessary. Their calm presence blends into the dim blue environment, making them seem like part of the water itself. Rather than pursuing prey with speed, they rely on gradual movement, gentle attraction, or simply waiting for dinner to drift close enough. Their hunting style feels more like floating meditation than pursuit. Even when they strike, it is with smooth, controlled motion that barely disturbs the surrounding calm. Watching these hunters teaches a lesson in quiet precision, how strength can come from stillness rather than force. Slow currents guide midwater migrations, creating soft underwater pathways that countless creatures follow without resistance. These currents move with a steady, predictable rhythm, shaping the journeys of fish, jellies, and drifting colonies that rely on the flow to travel long distances. Instead of fighting the water, the animals surrender to it, letting the currents support their movement. The ocean becomes a gentle conveyor, carrying life through vast, dim spaces at a pace so slow it feels timeless. Creatures rise with warm currents, sink with cooler ones, and shift horizontally when the water gently redirects. Observing these migrations is like watching slow, choreographed drifting, an underwater ballet guided entirely by the ocean's soft breath. Letting your thoughts follow these currents can bring a sense of effortless motion, as though you too are being carried somewhere peaceful. Deep swimmers move in smooth arcs, tracing wide, fluid paths through the twilight water. Their bodies are shaped for quiet efficiency, allowing them to glide with minimal resistance and no wasted motion. Each arc they draw feels soft and continuous, like a brushstroke flowing across a dark canvas. they adjust direction gradually, curving their bodies to follow invisible contours in the water. Their movements seem almost weightless, as if gravity has loosened its grip in the deep. When several deep swimmers move together, their arcs overlap in peaceful patterns, creating a sense of harmony within the dim blue space. Watching these wide, graceful paths invites your mind to drift into its own soft arc, gently curving into a state of deeper relaxation. Creatures glow in calming deep-sea blue, as if carrying their own hidden lanterns inside their bodies, letting their light soften the darkness around them instead of cutting through it. This gentle radiance spreads outward in slow, hazy ripples, tinting the water with a peaceful hue that makes everything feel quieter and further away. In this blue glow, outlines appear softly, almost like memories rather than shapes, and the creatures drift with unhurried ease, as though guided by the very light they create. The color itself seems to hold warmth, a serene balance between visibility and obscurity, allowing life to move without fear of being exposed. As each creature glows, the deep ocean appears less like an endless void and more like a tranquil night room where every flicker offers reassurance, inviting the mind to settle into the same steady rhythm of calm drifting. Flickering flashes guide nighttime drifters as tiny bursts of light appear and fade like soft whispers moving through long corridors of dark water. These flashes never feel harsh. Instead, they glow briefly with the gentleness of distant fireflies, offering just enough illumination to hint at direction without disturbing the stillness. Drifting creatures sense these faint pulses and adjust their slow paths, following the quiet signals that mark where others have passed. Each flicker seems to float in place for a heartbeat before dissolving into the deep, allowing the water to return to its natural silence. Over time, these scattered glimmers create a subtle map, a shifting constellation that changes with each drifting current. For the nighttime wanderers, this delicate guidance brings comfort, helping them navigate with a sense of belonging rather than aimlessness, as though the ocean itself is offering soft, glowing footprints to follow through the darkness. Glowing particles drift like underwater stars, scattering gently through the deep, with a softness that makes them feel weightless and timeless. Each particle carries a faint shimmer that brightens just enough to catch the eye before dimming again, creating a slow dance of light that mirrors the calm rhythm of the ocean itself. As they float, the particles move with the quiet patience of dust in a sunbeam, but their glow makes them seem almost celestial, as if fragments of a distant sky have settled beneath the waves. These tiny lights gather in loose clusters, forming drifting constellations that shift and blur with the surrounding currents. In the stillness of deep water, the glowing particles bring a tender kind of companionship, reminding any observer that even the darkest spaces can hold gentle stars. Their presence softens the mind, encouraging a feeling of slow drifting and peaceful surrender to the quiet depths. Bioluminescent trails mark soft movement paths as creatures glide through the dark, leaving behind subtle ribbons of light that linger for a moment before melting back into the water. These trails glow with a gentle steadiness, never bright enough to alarm, but warm enough to reveal the smooth arcs of motion. As one creature passes, the illuminated path curves like a quiet signature, documenting each turn and drift with calm grace. When another follows, the earlier glow may still hover faintly, creating overlapping ribbons that resemble slow brushstrokes painted across the underwater night. The trails help tiny wanderers sense where others have moved, giving the deep a sense of shared presence even in silence. Over time, these fading glows form a soft tapestry of movement, reminding the mind of how nothing in the ocean rushes. Everything slides forward with quiet certainty, leaving behind gentle traces that settle like memories in the dark. Jellies glow brighter in still water when the surrounding currents calm and their delicate bodies no longer need to fight against shifting movement. In this quietness, the bioluminescent chemicals they carry drift slowly through their tissues, creating a gentle radiance that expands softly instead of scattering. The still water acts like a natural canvas, letting every pulse of light spread outward in smooth halos, almost like lanterns floating beneath the surface. As the jellies hover, their bells rise and fall with an unhurried rhythm, and the glow becomes steadier, warmer, and more hypnotic. The deeper the water grows, the more those soft lights seem to dissolve into the surrounding darkness, creating the illusion of drifting stars. In this peaceful environment, each jellyfish becomes its own tiny glowing world, bright enough to draw the eye, yet calm enough to lull the mind toward rest. Small predators use faint light to navigate through the darkness of deep water, relying on a glow so delicate it barely disturbs the quiet around them. This gentle illumination helps them sense outlines, drifting shapes, and subtle movements in a space where sunlight never reaches. Instead of sharp beams, they produce soft glimmers, more like floating embers than true light, guiding them through the slow-moving currents. These faint signals help them stay aware without revealing their presence to larger hunters. As they drift, their soft light flickers against suspended particles, turning the water into a quiet constellation that shifts with every small movement. Their world becomes a calm corridor of dim radiance, enough to move safely but never enough to disrupt the deep sea's stillness. With each subtle glow, they navigate the unseen with quiet confidence, moving gently through a realm shaped entirely by shadows. Siphonophores spark with tiny flashes, as their long, delicate bodies stretch through the dark, casting brief ripples of light that shimmer like beads sliding along a thread. These flashes travel in small sequences, drifting from one cluster of cells to the next, almost like whispers being passed along a silent current. Each spark is soft and momentary, bright enough to outline their intricate form, but gentle enough to blend back into the darkness. The deeper they drift, the slower these pulses appear, as though the ocean itself is calming the light into a quiet rhythm. Each colony moves as a single fluid shape, so the flashes seem to glide rather than blink, creating a slow-motion trail of illumination. In the stillness of deep water, these subtle lights become a kind of underwater poetry, appearing and fading with a serenity that echoes the calm breathing of the sea. Organisms glow in waves like quiet breathing, their bioluminescent pulses spreading through the water in soft, rhythmic expansions. The light starts faintly, then slowly widens, wrapping the surrounding darkness in a gentle radiance before fading back into stillness. These waves move in patterns that feel almost alive, as if the entire ecosystem inhales and exhales together in slow harmony. Each glow reveals drifting shapes, tiny particles, and the outlines of creatures passing through the calm water. The pulses are never sudden. They unfold the way moonlight slides across a calm shoreline, steady and patient. As the rhythm continues, it becomes easy to sense the natural pace of the deep sea, measured not in seconds, but in soft cycles of illumination. The glowing waves bring a sense of deep, quiet order, reminding the watching mind of how even the smallest life forms follow ancient, unhurried rhythms. Soft glimmers brighten the deep sea darkness, spreading across the water in gentle bursts that hang in place like suspended stars. These glimmers come from small, drifting organisms whose bioluminescence activates with movement, releasing a faint glow that slowly disperses. In the vast stillness of the deep ocean, even a tiny spark can feel expansive, illuminating the surrounding water just enough to outline nearby shapes before fading. The darkness absorbs the light softly, allowing each glimmer to linger a moment longer before dissolving into shadow. These scattered points of brightness create a dreamlike calm, making the deep feel less like a void and more like a quiet nighttime sky turned upside down. As more organisms drift by, their lights appear and fade in a peaceful sequence, forming a soothing constellation that drifts with the currents and gently guides the mind into deeper rest. Soft fins ripple with minimal effort in the deep, where even the smallest motion can move a creature farther than expected. These fins are shaped to catch the slow, heavy flow of the surrounding water, letting each ripple spread like a quiet wave. Instead of flapping or pushing, the fins sway with a soft, rhythmic motion that seems more like breathing than swimming. This subtle movement saves energy and keeps the creature steady in a world where sudden motion can disrupt the calm. As the fins ripple, they create gentle patterns in the water, leaving faint trails that disappear almost immediately. Watching them move reveals how the ocean teaches every inhabitant to work with the water rather than against it. In this slow exchange, the fins become delicate instruments of balance, guiding the creature through the deep with a grace that feels effortless and endlessly soothing. Bodies adapt to crushing pressure peacefully in the deep sea, where the weight of the water above grows heavier than mountains. Instead of resisting this immense force, many creatures soften their structures, allowing the pressure to wrap around them without harm. Their bodies become flexible, compressible, and fluid, moving as though they are part of the water itself. Organs shift into simpler forms, bones become light or vanish entirely, and tissues grow more elastic to prevent strain. This adaptation allows them to drift calmly through depths that would crush rigid bodies instantly. Each slow movement shows how they blend into their environment, letting the surrounding pressure hold them rather than overwhelm them. In this peaceful surrender, their existence becomes a quiet harmony with forces far beyond human tolerance. The deep sea teaches them how softness can survive where strength alone cannot, offering a reminder of resilience born from calm acceptance. Deep sea creatures conserve every movement, treating motion as a precious resource in a world where energy is scarce and distances stretch endlessly. Rather than swimming constantly, they drift with the currents, letting the ocean carry them like gently held leaves. Muscles engage only when necessary, and even then the motion remains small, deliberate, and quiet. Their bodies evolve to reduce waste. Slower metabolism, efficient tissues, and streamlined shapes that glide easily through the dense water. Every gesture becomes meaningful, shaped by the need to survive in darkness, where food arrives rarely and unpredictably. Watching them move feels like witnessing a meditation in motion, each shift carefully measured. Their stillness is not weakness but wisdom, a way of preserving strength for crucial moments. In this calm restraint, deep sea creatures reveal how stillness itself can be a powerful adaptation, allowing life to endure where conditions seem impossibly harsh, yet profoundly peaceful. Slow drifting becomes a survival strategy in the deep, where conserving energy can mean the difference between life and disappearance. Instead of fighting the heavy water or swimming against long currents, many creatures loosen their bodies and let themselves float through the darkness. This drifting allows them to travel great distances with almost no effort, saving their strength for moments when a sudden movement is truly needed. Their shapes evolve to be neutrally buoyant, perfectly balanced, so they neither rise too fast nor sink too heavily. As they drift, they blend into the quiet rhythm of the deep, moving slowly enough that predators overlook them, and prey drifts closer without alarm. The ocean gently guides their path, carrying them like soft lanterns through its vast stillness. In embracing this slow drifting, these creatures show how surrendering to natural flow becomes a quiet form of survival, a peaceful way of existing within the deep. Gentle sinking replaces active swimming for many deep-sea creatures whose bodies are designed to descend softly through the water with little effort. Instead of pushing upward or fighting gravity, they allow the weight of their tissues and the density of the surrounding water to guide them downward in a slow, controlled fall. This gentle sinking reduces energy use and keeps their motion so smooth that they barely disturb the water around them. Their bodies adjust their buoyancy with small changes, expanding or contracting tiny internal spaces to maintain balance. As they sink, the dark water folds around them like soft fabric, carrying them deeper without haste. This quiet descent brings them into new layers of the ocean, each calmer and darker than the last. Through this slow, peaceful sinking, they move effortlessly through the deep, conserving strength and embracing the natural pace of their quiet underwater world. Elastic bodies bend with deep currents, as though shaped from living water, allowing creatures to move without resistance in places where the ocean pushes and pulls with steady force. Instead of remaining rigid, Their forms curve gently with each flow, absorbing the movement rather than fighting it. This flexibility protects them from strain and helps them maintain balance in the slow, shifting landscape of the deep. As the currents pass, their bodies twist in smooth arcs, creating patterns that seem almost choreographed. These movements are never rushed. They unfold with the same patience as the water itself. By bending instead of bracing, they avoid wasting energy and remain quietly aligned with their surroundings. The deep rewards this softness, letting them slip through darkness with a grace that feels effortless. In their gentle adaptability, they reveal how yielding to the currents can become a calm and enduring way of life. Slow reactions protect fragile organisms in the deep, where sudden movement could tear delicate tissues or attract unwanted attention. Instead of responding quickly to changes around them, these creatures allow themselves pauses, giving time for the environment to settle before they move. Their sensory systems are tuned to gradual shifts, soft vibrations, faint pressure changes, distant glimmers, so their responses are measured and steady. This slowness keeps them from colliding with unseen objects or drifting into danger. It also conserves precious energy in a world where food appears rarely and unpredictably. Their bodies are built for caution, using gentle motion instead of abrupt reflexes. In the quiet of the deep, this slow reaction time becomes an advantage, helping them survive with minimal disturbance. Their unhurried approach transforms vulnerability into resilience, showing how patience and softness can shield fragile life from the immense challenges of the ocean. Calm hovering helps save energy for deep-sea creatures whose survival depends on using as little effort as possible. Rather than swimming constantly, they maintain a delicate balance between buoyancy and gravity, allowing themselves to remain suspended in the water like quiet shadows. Tiny adjustments in their muscles or internal chambers keep them steady, preventing drift without wasting strength. Hovering gives them time to sense the environment, to watch for faint movements, or simply to rest in the vast stillness. It also keeps them hidden, as their minimal motion blends into the gentle background currents. In this suspended state, they conserve energy for critical moments, feeding, escaping, or navigating sudden changes. Hovering becomes its own peaceful rhythm, a soft way of existing that mirrors the slow pace of the deep ocean. Through this calm stillness, they embody the quiet wisdom of conserving energy in a world where every movement matters. Soft undulations guide silent travel in the deep sea, where noise can attract predators or disturb nearby life. Creatures rely on smooth waves of motion that ripple through their bodies, creating gentle propulsion without breaking the surrounding calm. Each undulation flows into the next with seamless unity, allowing them to move forward in long, gliding motions. This fluid movement keeps them nearly invisible, blending with the slow pulse of the water. Their bodies are shaped to distribute force evenly, so no part strains or pushes too hard. The result is a graceful form of travel that feels almost meditative, as though the creature is drifting and steering at the same time. These soft waves of motion help them navigate the deep without drawing attention, preserving both energy and safety. Through this silent, rippling travel, they become part of the ocean's steady rhythm, moving with peaceful precision through its quiet darkness. Broad fins create smooth, gliding arcs as creatures move through the deep, spreading their wide surfaces to catch the dense water and convert it into effortless motion. Instead of beating rapidly, these fins sweep in long, slow curves that carry the body forward with minimal resistance. Each arc feels like a gentle stroke, guiding the creature through the darkness with a natural, drifting grace. The broader the fin, the more water it holds, allowing for greater lift and smoother movement. This gliding technique reduces energy use and keeps the creature stable even in shifting currents. As they move, the arcs of their fins leave faint patterns behind them, barely disturbing the water. The motion feels calm and continuous, a quiet dance designed for endurance rather than speed. Through these broad, fluid gestures, deep-sea creatures travel far distances without strain, embodying the quiet strength of slow, steady movement. Deep sharks glide without disturbing water, moving with such smooth precision that their presence feels more like a passing shadow than a living creature. Their bodies are shaped to slip through the deep with minimal resistance, allowing them to travel long distances without leaving turbulence behind. Instead of quick strokes, their fins make slow, controlled motions that blend into the gentle rhythm of the ocean. This quiet gliding helps them sense faint vibrations from far away while keeping their own approach hidden. The deep water around them stays calm, carrying only the softest hints of their passage. As they drift, they conserve energy and maintain a patient watchfulness, waiting for the right moment to act. In their silence, deep sharks reveal a form of power that doesn't need speed or violence, just steady, effortless presence, perfectly adapted to the unbroken stillness of the abyss. Sleeper sharks move with ancient slowness, drifting through deep waters as if time itself has softened around them. Their motions are unhurried, shaped by millennia of life where speed offers little advantage. With bodies built for endurance rather than sudden bursts, they glide at a pace that mirrors the slow pulse of the ocean. This slowness is not a weakness but a strategy, conserving energy in a world where food is scarce and distances stretch endlessly. Their dark forms merge with the water, giving them a quiet invisibility that protects them from both predators and prey. Every movement is deliberate, every shift measured, as though they are guided by an instinct older than the light that never reaches their world. In their gentle drifting, sleeper sharks embody a calm certainty, showing that survival in the deep belongs to those who move with patience, balance, and timeless ease. Gulper eels open jaws with slow grace, unfurling them like a quietly blooming flower rather than snapping with sudden force. Their enormous mouths expand gradually, creating a wide, soft funnel that draws in unsuspecting prey drifting nearby. This slow opening prevents startling vibrations, allowing the eel to stay nearly invisible until the last moment. As the jaws extend, the body remains still, floating with the current so smoothly that the motion seems part of the water itself. The deep sea around them stays undisturbed, making the eel's quiet hunting method feel almost serene. Once the jaws close, they fold back into their natural shape with the same gentle precision. This calm efficiency allows the gulper eel to thrive in a world where food appears rarely and energy must be saved. Their movements turn predation into a silent, fluid ritual shaped by the deep's unbroken darkness. Deep squid hunt with soft precision, using gentle pulses of their fins and subtle adjustments of their tentacles to maneuver silently through the water. Rather than darting quickly, they approach their surroundings with careful, floating movements that hide their intentions. Their bodies shift color in slow, controlled transitions, blending seamlessly with the dim light around them. When they extend their arms, it happens with smooth, coordinated grace, each tentacle moving like a soft ribbon guided by instinct. They do not rush. Instead, they wait for the perfect moment when a drifting creature drifts close enough for a quiet capture. Even their jet-propelled motions, normally used for escape, become gentler in the deep, releasing only soft ripples. Through this delicate approach, deep squid transform hunting into a calm, almost meditative action, proving that even active predators can move with the stillness of the ocean's breath. Anglerfish lure prey without movement, letting the faint glow of their bioluminescent lure drift in front of them like a tiny floating star. Suspended in complete stillness, they conserve every drop of energy while allowing curious creatures to approach on their own. The gentle sway of the glowing lure mimics small, drifting life, drawing unsuspecting prey closer in slow, hesitant arcs. Meanwhile, the anglerfish remains perfectly motionless, its dark body blending completely into the surrounding water. Only when the moment is right does it act, but even then, the motion is minimal, a quiet closing rather than a violent strike. This stillness is essential in the deep, where any unnecessary movement wastes precious energy or alerts potential prey. Through this effortless patience, The anglerfish turns the darkness into an ally, demonstrating how the calmest presence can become the most effective hunter in the silent depths. Slow predators rely on stillness, using the deep ocean's quiet as both camouflage and strategy. Instead of racing toward their targets, they hold themselves in perfect suspension, letting the darkness settle around their bodies until they become nearly indistinguishable from the water itself. This stillness allows them to sense faint vibrations, soft pulses of movement, and subtle chemical trails drifting through the cold. By moving so little, they conserve energy in a world where food may pass by only occasionally. Their patience becomes a form of power, allowing them to stay unnoticed while carefully observing their surroundings. When the moment finally arrives, they respond with a small, efficient motion, never rushed, never wasteful. In the deep sea, where visibility is low and energy precious, this quiet reliance on stillness becomes their most effective tool, turning the silence of the abyss into the perfect hunting ground. Quiet ambush hunters wait patiently in the deep, choosing positions where the darkness folds around them like a protective cloak. They settle into crevices, hover behind drifting particles, or simply remain suspended in place, letting time stretch softly around them. Every second of stillness strengthens their advantage, allowing the water to forget their presence. Their bodies remain relaxed, but attentive, ready to act with subtle precision the moment prey drifts near. They do not chase. Instead, they allow the ocean's slow currents to carry opportunities to them. This patience reduces energy use and prevents them from drawing attention in a place where light is scarce and movement easily noticed. When they finally strike, the action is small and controlled, returning quickly to quiet after the moment passes. Their ambush style reflects the deep sea's own rhythm, slow, deliberate, and shaped by the long silence surrounding them. Soft-bodied feeders strike without sound, using their flexible forms to capture prey in movements so gentle they barely disturb the surrounding water. Their bodies bend and shift like drifting fabric, allowing them to approach quietly from multiple angles. Instead of snapping or lunging, they envelop their targets with smooth precision, relying on softness rather than force. This silent method keeps vibrations minimal, protecting them from alerting both predators and prey. Their tissues absorb motion instead of creating it, making every action feel muted and slow. In the deep, where pressure is immense and sounds travel far, this soundless feeding style becomes a powerful adaptation. It allows them to move efficiently through darkness while avoiding unnecessary attention. Their gentle strikes show how the deep ocean rewards quietness, turning softness into an effective form of predation that fits perfectly within the calm, shadow-filled environment they inhabit. Predatory fish hover in calm darkness, holding their bodies steady as they watch the faintest flickers of light or movement drift through the water. Instead of swimming in wide sweeps, they maintain a delicate balance that keeps them suspended in place, almost like shadows attached to nothing. This hovering allows them to conserve energy and stay nearly invisible to passing creatures. Their eyes adjust to the subtle glow of bioluminescence, tracking small silhouettes that move through the still water. When they decide to act, the transition from stillness to motion is seamless, controlled, and beautifully efficient. They glide forward with minimal effort, guided by a precise awareness of the surrounding space. After the moment passes, they return to quiet suspension, letting the darkness absorb them once again. Through this calm hovering, predatory fish master the art of blending patience with subtle action, perfectly suited to the deep sea's slow rhythm. Gentle approaches define deep-sea hunting, where haste wastes energy and noise exposes even the most skilled predator. Instead of charging forward, hunters glide with slow confidence, letting the water carry them closer to their targets. Their movements are rounded and quiet, shaped to avoid creating ripples that could give away their position. As they near their prey, they reduce their motion even further, becoming part of the drifting environment. Whether they use bioluminescent lures, soft tentacles, or wide fins, their approach is always deliberate and serene. When they finally strike, it is with a motion so small and controlled that the water barely stirs. This calm method allows them to hunt effectively without breaking the deep's natural quiet. In these gentle approaches, the deep-sea predators reveal a truth about their world. Survival belongs not to the fastest, but to the quietest, the most patient, and the most softly skilled. Sea cucumbers graze slowly across sediment, moving with an unhurried rhythm that matches the stillness of the abyssal plains. Their soft bodies press gently into the seafloor, gathering tiny particles of organic matter left behind by drifting currents. Each movement is subtle, a slow contraction followed by a quiet release, creating a steady inching motion that barely disturbs the surrounding sand. As they feed, they clean the sea floor in a peaceful cycle, turning sediment and releasing it again in softer, finer grains. Their presence brings a gentle order to the deep, shaping the landscape without intention or noise. In the darkness, their slow progress becomes almost meditative, a calm procession across silent plains. They survive not through speed or strength but through steady persistence, showing how life in the deepest waters thrives by embracing the slowest possible pace. Starfish glide with quiet coordination, using hundreds of tiny tube feet that move in soft waves beneath their arms. Each foot attaches gently and releases with perfect rhythm, creating a smooth, almost floating glide across the sea floor. Their movements are so subtle that the sand shifts only slightly with each step, leaving delicate trails behind them. Despite their calm appearance, the coordination required is remarkable, with every limb sensing pressure, position, and texture in the darkness. Starfish navigate by touch rather than sight, allowing their calm movement to feel instinctive and unforced. As they drift forward, they explore rocks, sediment, and faint chemical cues with patient curiosity. Their pace is slow but purposeful, a quiet wandering that mirrors the deep sea's steady heartbeat. In this gentle glide, starfish embody the quiet intelligence of creatures shaped entirely by touch and softness. Giant isopods crawl with deliberate calm across the abyssal plains, their segmented bodies moving like slow, armored ripples over the dark sediment. Each leg lifts and sets down with measured precision, creating a steady rhythm that feels more like drifting than walking. Their large, rounded shells protect them from pressure and cold, allowing them to move without urgency in their quiet environment. Feeding mostly on fallen organic matter, they search patiently across the seafloor, sensing subtle chemical trails left in the darkness. Nothing about their movement is rushed. Every action is efficient, conserving energy in a habitat where food arrives unpredictably. Their presence adds a sense of ancient patience to the deep, as though they carry the memory of countless years within their calm posture. With each slow step, giant isopods reveal the deep sea's truth. Survival comes to those who move with deliberate and enduring softness. Brittle stars curl gently around sand, their slender arms weaving slow, delicate patterns that barely disturb the quiet seafloor. Instead of gliding or crawling in straight lines, they move with graceful spirals, bending each limb in synchronized, flowing motions. Their arms explore the sediment like soft brushes, sensing textures and tiny vibrations in the dark. This gentle curling allows them to cover distance without sudden movement, keeping their fragile bodies safe from strain. As they drift, their limbs coil and uncoil with hypnotic steadiness, creating shapes that resemble quiet underwater dances. They blend into the landscape, settling into the sand or hiding beneath small stones without effort. Their motions reflect the slow rhythm of the deep, where silence shapes every action. Through these delicate movements, brittle stars show how life can flourish in darkness by embracing fluidity, softness, and the subtle art of gentle exploration. Sea lilies sway like underwater flowers, anchored firmly to the seafloor while their feathery arms drift with the slightest movement of deep currents. Their bodies remain still, but their many delicate limbs wave in soft, rhythmic patterns, giving the impression of blossoms opening and closing in slow motion. These swaying arms capture tiny particles of food, carried by the water, turning feeding into a graceful performance. Despite their plant-like appearance, sea lilies are animals, relying on patient stillness rather than movement to survive. The deep currents brush past them with gentle consistency, creating a calm dance that continues without pause. Their presence brings an unexpected elegance to the darkness, adding texture and soft movement to the quiet plains. Watching them sway feels like observing a garden shaped entirely by water and time, where every gesture is slow, balanced, and beautifully aligned with the ocean's ancient rhythm. Snailfish drift just above the seafloor, floating with a softness that makes them appear almost weightless in the dense darkness. Their bodies, delicate and gelatinous, allow them to move without stirring much sediment, relying on gentle tail motions that ripple like slow breaths. Instead of swimming with force, they let the heavy water carry them forward, adjusting their path with the slightest curve of their fins. This soft drifting helps them avoid predators while staying close to the nutrient-rich bottom where small prey hide. Their translucent skin blends into the dim environment, making their presence barely noticeable. As they hover, their movements echo the unbroken calm of the abyss, where speed holds little meaning. Watching them drift reveals how deeply life has adapted to quiet conditions, turning softness into a survival tool that perfectly matches the deep sea's silent, motionless world. Worms glide softly through soft sediments, moving with an almost invisible grace as their supple bodies weave between grains of sand and silt. Each ripple along their length creates a smooth, flowing push that sends them forward without disturbing the world around them. Their movement is so gentle that the sediment closes behind them like untouched fabric. These worms navigate using touch rather than sight, sensing tiny shifts in pressure and texture as they explore the cold, dark floor. Their slow gliding allows them to find food with minimal effort and avoid drawing attention from predators. The softness of their bodies lets them slip through narrow spaces, adapting perfectly to the deep sea's calm environment. Their presence brings subtle motion to the otherwise still seabed, proving that even the smallest creatures contribute to the quiet rhythm of life in the abyss, one soft glide at a time. Abyssal crabs move in small, gentle steps, lifting their legs slowly to avoid kicking up clouds of sediment in the still water. Their movements appear cautious but intentional, shaped by the need to conserve energy in a world where food is scarce. Each step lands lightly, making their progress across the cold seafloor seem almost delicate despite their sturdy bodies. Their eyes scan the darkness for faint flickers of movement, relying on patience rather than speed to find prey. Even when they feed, their motions remain controlled and quiet, blending seamlessly into the hushed atmosphere of the deep. Their slow pace helps them stay hidden, moving like part of the seafloor itself rather than active hunters. In their small, measured steps, abyssal crabs embody the deep ocean's preference for calmness, showing how survival is often tied to gentle, thoughtful movement rather than swift action. Deep clams rest peacefully in cold mud, settling into the sea floor with a stillness that reflects the quiet environment around them. Their heavy shells anchor them in place, allowing them to remain motionless for long periods while filtering nutrients from the surrounding water. The cold mud cushions their bodies, creating a stable environment where temperature and pressure change only slowly. Without the need to move or chase food, these clams conserve energy in one of the most demanding habitats on Earth. Their presence provides habitat for tiny organisms, forming small pockets of life around them. Even in their stillness, they contribute to the ecological balance by cycling nutrients through the sediment. The calm patience of deep clams mirrors the rhythm of the abyss, where life grows not by movement but by endurance, steadiness, and quiet coexistence with the dark seafloor. Tube worms grow patiently near vents, rising slowly from mineral-rich chimneys where warm, chemical-laden water mixes with the cold surrounding sea. Their long, delicate structures expand millimeter by millimeter, forming clusters that resemble pale, drifting forests anchored to the vents. These worms rely on symbiotic bacteria rather than traditional feeding, allowing them to thrive without moving at all. Their slow growth becomes a testament to the deep sea's enduring calm, where change happens gradually across decades. The warm currents from the vents cause their plumes to sway gently, adding soft motion to a harsh environment filled with darkness and pressure. Despite the extreme conditions, tube worms remain peaceful, absorbing nourishment through quiet chemical exchanges. Their patient growth transforms the deep into a landscape of subtle life, demonstrating how even the most formidable environments can nurture beauty through slow, steady expansion. Blobfish float with soft, buoyant stillness, their gelatinous bodies perfectly matched to the deep sea's crushing pressure. Without the need for strong muscles or rapid movement, they drift gently above the seafloor, letting the dense water support them like a quiet cradle. Their features, softened by the lack of gravity's pull, appear calm and relaxed, giving them a strangely peaceful expression. Instead of swimming, they rely on passive buoyancy, moving only when currents guide them. This stillness protects them from wasting energy in a world where food is scarce and motion can attract attention. In the darkness, their pale form blends effortlessly into the surroundings, allowing them to exist quietly and without disturbance. Their gentle floating shows how the deep transforms even unusual shapes into symbols of softness, turning the blobfish into an emblem of quiet resilience in an environment shaped entirely by pressure and silence. Barrel-eye fish hover with upward-facing eyes, holding themselves steady in the water as though suspended in thought. Their transparent heads reveal delicate internal structures, glowing faintly in the dim light of the deep. These upward-oriented eyes move slowly, scanning for silhouettes drifting above them, while their bodies remain almost perfectly still. This hovering posture lets them conserve precious energy, avoiding unnecessary swimming in the dense abyss. Their slow movements are guided by subtle fin adjustments, barely noticeable among the drifting particles. Despite their unusual appearance, their behavior feels gentle, patient, and deeply adapted to darkness. The barrel eye's calm hovering creates a sense of quiet vigilance, as though it listens more than it sees. In a world where sudden movements waste energy and invite danger, this stillness becomes an elegant survival strategy, blending mystery, fragility, and deep-sea serenity into one extraordinary form. Dumbo octopus flap ear-like fins slowly, moving with a soft, floating grace that makes them appear more like drifting spirits than animals. Their rounded bodies pulse gently as their fins wave outward in smooth, slow arcs, propelling them through the deep with almost no disturbance. Each motion feels carefully measured, as though they are dancing to a rhythm only the ocean knows. Their tentacles curl beneath them like delicate petals, adding to their gentle, dreamlike presence. Instead of hunting aggressively, they glide quietly along the seafloor, using calm movements to explore and feed. Their expressive shape and unhurried pace make them seem friendly, peaceful, and strangely touching. In the deep sea's darkness, they become symbols of softness, showing how even unusual, whimsical forms can move with serene confidence. Watching them drift reveals a kind of underwater comfort, a reminder that beauty can be found in the slowest, quietest motions. Viperfish remain motionless for long periods, despite their fierce appearance and sharp teeth that seem built for fast strikes. In the deep, conserving energy is more important than constant movement. So these predators rest in the dark, letting the surrounding water erase any sign of their presence. Their bodies stay perfectly still, blending into the shadows while their faint bioluminescent organs attract curious prey. The contrast between their fearsome look and their calm behavior creates an eerie but gentle coexistence with the abyss. Only when the right moment arrives do they make a swift, efficient motion, returning immediately to stillness afterward. This cycle, waiting, striking, resting, aligns with the deep sea's slow rhythm, proving that even intimidating creatures move with restraint. Their long periods of quiet show how patience and minimal effort become essential in a place where every action counts. In this stillness, viperfish reveal a surprising softness beneath their sharp exterior. Tripod fish stand calmly on thin fins, balancing like delicate sculptures on the seafloor. Their long, stick-like fin rays anchor them gently into the sediment, allowing them to hold a steady position without swimming. This stillness lets them face slow-moving currents that bring tiny prey drifting into reach. Their elongated fins sway slightly, but remain stable enough for the fish to maintain perfect balance in the deep's crushing pressure. With eyes adapted to near-total darkness, they rely more on gentle touch and subtle vibrations to sense what passes nearby. Their calm stance turns them into quiet sentinels of the abyss, waiting patiently without effort. The sight of these slender fish standing upright adds an almost surreal beauty to the deep plains, showing how life adapts not just through movement but through stillness. In their poised, unmoving form, tripod fish embody the quiet equilibrium of the deep ocean. Gelatinous creatures drift in slow waves, their soft bodies rising and falling with the gentle pulse of deep currents. Without rigid bones, they move like living water, allowing every swell to pass through them rather than resisting it. This fluidity makes their drifting appear effortless, as though they are part of the ocean's own breathing. Their translucent forms glow faintly when touched by scattered bioluminescent particles, turning each slow wave into a shimmering ribbon of light. These creatures conserve energy by letting the sea guide their path, surrendering to its calm motion. Their bodies expand and contract in subtle patterns, creating movements that feel more like drifting clouds than animals. In the darkness, their presence brings a soothing rhythm that softens the vast stillness around them. Watching them drift reminds the mind that in the deep sea, softness and surrender are powerful ways to survive and thrive. Ribbon fish ripple like floating silk, their long, ribbon-like bodies bending in smooth, flowing curves that glide through the deep with gentle, mesmerizing motion. Each ripple begins softly near the head and travels down the length of their slender form, creating a graceful wave that seems more artistic than functional. Their shimmering bodies catch faint glimmers of bioluminescent light, making their motion appear even more delicate. Instead of swimming forcefully, they move by allowing these ripples to carry them forward, conserving energy while maintaining perfect control. Their thin fins flutter lightly, adding subtle adjustments that keep them balanced in the dark water. Ribbon fish embody elegance in the abyss, blending strangeness and beauty into every movement. Their fluid rippling transforms the surrounding darkness into a quiet performance, showing how even the most unusual shapes can move with serene, almost dreamlike harmony in the deep sea. Transparent predators hover without effort, their nearly invisible bodies blending seamlessly into the dark water. With tissues so clear that even faint glimmers of light pass through them, these creatures become ghosts of the deep, moving without disturbing their surroundings. Their hovering requires only the smallest fin flicks or body shifts, making their motion appear weightless. This transparency helps them avoid detection while they quietly observe drifting prey. Their soft silhouettes appear only when bioluminescent particles briefly highlight their outlines, revealing delicate structures adapted for the deep's calm silence. Their hunting style relies on stillness, patience, and the ability to disappear into the water itself. By exerting so little effort, they conserve energy while maintaining perfect positioning. In their quiet hovering, transparent predators show how beauty and danger can merge into a single, gentle form, drifting peacefully through the abyss with near-invisible grace. Sea spiders move with delicate balance, extending their long, fragile legs across the seafloor as though walking on invisible threads. Each step is slow and careful, avoiding any disturbance to the soft sediment beneath them. Their thin limbs sway gently with the faintest currents, helping them maintain stability in the heavy water. Despite their strange appearance, their movement is calm and measured, shaped by the deep sea's quiet rhythm. They use subtle motions to search for tiny bits of food, relying on careful precision rather than speed. Their bodies remain still while their legs perform soft, coordinated gestures, creating a sense of weightless walking. The calm patience of their movement gives them an almost meditative presence, as if each step is chosen rather than automatic. In a world where sudden action wastes precious energy, sea spiders show how delicate control becomes a graceful survival strategy in the deep ocean. Deep sea snails glide with soft grace, their smooth bodies pressing gently into the seafloor as they move. Their slow progress leaves faint, curling paths behind them, marking their quiet journey across the dark sediment. With each movement of their muscular foot, they push forward in delicate waves that feel more like breathing than walking. Their shells, often pale or translucent, reflect faint glimmers of bioluminescence drifting through the water, giving them a soft, glowing presence. Unlike faster animals, deep-sea snails embrace the pace of the abyss, conserving energy with every centimeter of movement. They explore patiently, sensing chemical traces and gentle vibrations that guide them to food. Their calm, steady gliding blends perfectly with the stillness of the deep, transforming their slow motion into a quiet testament to endurance. In their gentle journey, they embody the peaceful, unhurried spirit of life, far beneath the waves. Shrimp clean deep fish with quiet care, approaching their larger partners with slow, cautious movements that never disturb the surrounding water. These small cleaners move gently along the bodies of deep-sea fish, removing parasites and dead tissue with delicate touches of their tiny claws. The fish remain almost perfectly still, trusting the shrimp to work with precision in the darkness. This partnership unfolds silently, guided by signals we cannot hear but expressed through calm posture and unhurried motion. The shrimp move in soft patterns, drifting from one spot to the next as though following an invisible map. Their careful cleaning supports the health of both creatures, giving the shrimp nourishment while helping the fish remain strong in a realm where every advantage matters. In this exchange, cooperation feels effortless, a quiet harmony shaped by slow trust and the steady, timeless rhythms of the deep. Symbiotic bacteria create gentle blue light, glowing softly within the tissues of deep-sea creatures that rely on their subtle radiance. These tiny partners produce bioluminescent light through chemical reactions that unfold with calm consistency, illuminating the darkness without overwhelming it. The blue hue drifts outward like a soft halo, helping animals communicate, attract food, or simply blend into the dim surroundings. The creatures hosting these bacteria move slowly, allowing the glow to shimmer steadily instead of flickering. In return for providing shelter and nutrients, the bacteria give their hosts a peaceful, useful light source perfectly suited to the deep. This glowing partnership feels almost magical, a quiet merging of two forms of life into one drifting presence. Together, they create a calm, shared illumination that turns the endless darkness into a gentle, living space filled with soft, soothing blue. Slow feeders rely on drifting marine snow, letting the constant descent of tiny organic particles nourish them without requiring active hunting. These delicate flakes, made of microscopic debris and faint remnants of surface life, fall through the water like a quiet snowfall. Slow feeders extend soft structures, tentacles, cilia, or feathery arms to capture these drifting nutrients as they pass. Their bodies remain mostly still, conserving energy while allowing the ocean's natural cycles to supply food. This passive feeding creates a sense of calm patience, a reminder that survival in the deep often depends on embracing slowness. As marine snow settles around them, it forms a gentle, hazy layer that softens the landscape and provides a steady supply of nourishment. The feeders' calm acceptance of this drifting abundance forms a peaceful partnership with the ocean, turning every falling particle into a quiet gift from the world above. Crustaceans ride larger animals peacefully, clinging softly to their hosts as they move through the deep with slow, rhythmic motion. These tiny passengers position themselves where currents flow gently, allowing them to stay secure without gripping tightly. Their presence rarely bothers the larger animals, whose calm movements provide a stable platform for travel. In return, the crustaceans gain protection, mobility, and occasional access to drifting food. This quiet partnership unfolds without conflict, shaped by mutual benefit and the deep sea's unspoken patience. As the larger animals glide forward, the small riders sway gently with each movement, blending into the surrounding darkness. Their delicate cooperation reveals how even the simplest interactions can become graceful exchanges in the deep. Together, they form a drifting pair that weaves calmly through the quiet waters, embodying the deep ocean's soft and understated connections. Deep-sea worms share nutrients with bacteria, forming one of the calmest and most efficient partnerships in the abyss. These worms house symbiotic bacteria within their tissues, providing them with minerals and chemicals from the surrounding water. In return, the bacteria convert these substances into nourishment the worms can absorb, eliminating the need for mouths or digestive systems. This peaceful exchange takes place entirely within the worm's body, unfolding slowly and continuously. The worms remain anchored near vents or cold seeps, letting chemical-rich water flow gently around them while the bacteria perform quiet miracles. Together, they thrive without movement, relying on trust and chemical harmony rather than hunting or grazing. Their partnership turns some of the harshest environments on Earth into places where life grows steadily and softly. In this symbiotic embrace, worms and bacteria reveal how cooperation can flourish even in complete darkness, sustained by patience and gentle balance. Fish shelter near glowing companions, drifting quietly beside animals whose soft bioluminescent light provides both comfort and protection. In the deep, where darkness feels endless, even the faintest glow becomes a gentle beacon that helps nearby creatures navigate and stay aware of their surroundings. Some fish position themselves just behind these glowing partners, using the soft illumination to avoid obstacles and detect subtle movements without exposing themselves to danger. The companionship is calm and unspoken, built on the natural rhythm of drifting together through still waters. The glowing animals do not chase or guide. They simply continue their slow journey while others follow their peaceful light. This shared presence forms a quiet bond that requires no movement beyond gentle gliding. The result is a floating shelter of soft blue radiance, a calm oasis in the vast dark, reminding all nearby life that even in the deepest silence, warmth can be found. Mutualistic pairs drift through darkness together, their movements synchronized not by force, but by shared instinct and quiet trust. One partner provides protection or light, while the other offers cleaning, shelter, or subtle navigation cues. As they glide beside each other, their bodies create a small, moving sanctuary where both can thrive with minimal effort. The deep sea's calm currents gently guide them forward, allowing their partnership to unfold without urgency. Their silent drifting becomes a soft conversation of gestures, slight turns, and slow adjustments, each movement shaped by the needs of both creatures. In a world where resources are scarce and danger often invisible, these pairs find balance through cooperation rather than speed. Their companionship brings stability to their journey, forming a peaceful alliance that drifts gracefully through the abyss. Together, they navigate a realm of quiet challenges, proving that harmony offers its own form of survival. Animals follow each other's soft light trails, creating drifting processions through the deep, where visibility is limited, but bioluminescent glows offer faint guidance. These light trails shimmer gently behind glowing creatures, lingering just long enough for others to trace their paths without rushing. The following animals move slowly, adjusting their route to stay within the comfort of this soft illumination. This shared travel reduces the risk of getting lost in the vast dark and helps them navigate subtle slopes, currents, and feeding grounds. The trails themselves resemble underwater stardust, scattering lightly through the water before fading into stillness. By moving together in these quiet lines of light, the animals gain both orientation and companionship. Their journey becomes a cooperative drift rather than a solitary wander, shaped by trust in the gentle glow left behind. Each soft trail forms a calm, shared pathway through the silent depths. Partnerships form in silent migration routes, where creatures travel long distances through near-complete darkness, relying on the quiet presence of each other to stay safe. These journeys unfold slowly, shaped by ancient instincts and the gradual shifts of deep currents. Animals gather in loose groups, maintaining just enough closeness to sense one another through faint vibrations or soft bioluminescent signals. Their collective movement creates a calm rhythm. No creature leads. Instead, they drift together, adjusting their pace to match the group's gentle flow. This silent companionship reduces the stress of navigating challenging terrain and helps each member conserve precious energy. Through these unspoken alliances, migration becomes a peaceful procession rather than a lonely passage. Their shared path reflects the deep sea's quiet wisdom. Survival is stronger when creatures move together in calm harmony. Coexisting species stabilize deep ecosystems, each contributing to the delicate balance that keeps life thriving in the abyss. Some filter water, others recycle nutrients, and many provide shelter, food, or subtle chemical cues that support nearby species. Their interactions form a gentle network where every organism influences the surrounding environment through calm, continuous processes. None dominate. Instead, they coexist with quiet respect for the limited resources and fragile conditions of the deep. By moving slowly, feeding softly, and interacting without disruption, they maintain the seafloor's stability and prevent sudden imbalances. Over time, their combined presence creates a peaceful, self-sustaining system where life persists despite darkness and crushing pressure. This harmony is not dramatic but steady, built on small acts of coexistence repeated endlessly. Through this calm collaboration, deep ecosystems flourish, revealing how cooperation becomes the foundation of survival in the ocean's most silent realms. Deep creatures follow ancient migration cycles, moving through the darkness along routes older than human memory. These pathways stretch across the abyss, guided by subtle cues, temperature shifts, faint chemical traces, or distant vibrations. Each generation follows the same slow rhythm, drifting upward when food becomes more abundant and sinking again when the deep grows quiet. Their movement is unhurried, shaped by instincts passed down over millions of years. Even though they cannot see the path ahead, their bodies understand it, responding gently to the cycles that govern their world. These migrations appear calm, almost meditative, as entire communities rise and fall together at a pace that honors the deep sea's stillness. Through these ancient cycles, they maintain balance in an environment where survival depends on timing rather than speed. Their quiet journeys reflect a memory older than any individual life, a rhythm written into the ocean itself. Life adapts slowly across millennia, changing in small, nearly invisible steps that accumulate over vast stretches of time. In the deep sea, where pressure, cold, and darkness remain constant, evolution becomes a patient sculptor. Soft bodies grow softer, movements grow slower, and senses refine themselves to detect the faintest signals. These adaptations arise not through sudden shifts but through quiet adjustments handed down through countless generations. Each tiny change helps creatures blend more deeply into their silent environment, shaping forms perfectly suited for endurance rather than speed. Over millions of years, entire species become living reflections of the deep's calm stability. Their slow evolution mirrors the ocean's own timelessness, proving that survival is not always about rapid transformation, but about gentle, continuous adjustment. In this patient shaping, life becomes part of the deep's ancient rhythm, moving forward quietly, almost imperceptibly, through ages of darkness. Food sinks in gentle descending snow, falling from the upper ocean in a quiet rain of organic particles that sustains life across the abyss. This marine snow drifts slowly through the water column, each tiny flake carrying remnants of distant surface life. As it descends, it becomes softer, more delicate, moving like dreamlike dust through the dark. Creatures of the deep wait with calm patience, extending feathery arms or soft filtering structures to catch this steady nourishment. The falling particles create a continuous cycle, linking the bright surface world with the silent depths below. Without this slow rain, many deep-sea animals could not survive, as food is scarce and energy must be saved. The gentle snowfall forms a comforting rhythm, reminding the deep sea that life above is always offering something to those below. In this quiet descent, the entire ocean becomes connected through softness and the steady gift of drifting nourishment. Sediment layers form quiet histories on the seafloor, building up year after year in delicate, undisturbed sheets. Each layer carries traces of ancient life, fragments of shells, pollen from distant winds, or tiny remains of drifting creatures. Over time, these layers settle into a peaceful archive, recording changes in climate, migration, and ocean chemistry without a single written word. The deep sea protects these histories from disruption, allowing them to accumulate slowly and evenly across millennia. Scientists who study these sediments uncover whisper-like clues about the Earth's past, hearing faint echoes of extinct species and long-lost currents. The layers remind us that even in silent places, stories continue to grow. As the ocean presses gently upon them, they remain preserved in calm darkness, forming a timeline shaped not by events, but by slow, patient accumulation. In these quiet histories, the deep holds memories older than continents. Slow currents shape yearly movements, drifting through the abyss with patience and steady direction. These currents are not powerful waves, but soft, continuous flows that nudge creatures along ancient paths. Over time, animals learn to synchronize with them, letting the gentle push guide seasonal feeding, reproduction, and migration. The currents carry subtle signals, temperature shifts, nutrient trails, faint chemical signatures that help deep-sea life understand the passing of months and years. Their slow pace matches the deep's timeless rhythm, making each cycle feel unhurried and natural. As the currents move, they sculpt the landscape, redistributing fine sediments and forming calm pathways across the seafloor. They create a dependable foundation in a world where stability is rare. By following these quiet flows, creatures conserve energy and maintain harmony with their environment. In their gentle guidance, slow currents become the deep ocean's quiet calendar, marking time through movement rather than noise. Pressure changes guide gradual evolution in the deep, shaping life with a slow, steady force that never pauses. Creatures here adapt not through dramatic transformations, but through tiny adjustments that accumulate over ages. As pressure increases with depth, bodies grow softer, more flexible, and more efficient at conserving energy. Muscles lighten, bones vanish, and tissues learn to compress gently without strain. These subtle shifts pass from generation to generation, forming a quiet lineage of adaptations tuned to the deep's constant weight. Over millions of years, species become living expressions of their environment, molded by a force that never rushes. This gradual shaping allows them to thrive where few others can survive. In the silence and darkness, evolution feels less like change and more like patient refinement, guided by the deep sea's unending pressure. Through this slow influence, life finds harmony with forces that might seem overwhelming elsewhere. Darkness creates consistent, calm routines, teaching deep-sea creatures to rely on quiet cycles rather than sharp bursts of activity. Without sunlight to mark day or night, life adopts steady rhythms shaped by instinct, pressure, and the flow of currents. Movements become softer, feeding happens at unhurried intervals, and rest blends seamlessly with drifting. The absence of light removes the need for sudden reactions, allowing creatures to conserve energy and avoid unnecessary stress. Their senses adjust to subtle signals, pressure changes, chemical cues, faint vibrations that guide their behavior with gentle precision. Over time, these calm routines become second nature, passed down through generations as reliable patterns for survival. In a world where unpredictability is minimized, darkness becomes a stabilizing force, shaping lives that move at the pace of deep time. Through this quiet consistency, the deep sea grows peaceful, steady, and beautifully predictable. Creatures repeat timeless feeding rhythms, following slow, ancient cycles that have remained unchanged for millions of years. Whether they capture drifting marine snow, filter nutrients from the water, or wait patiently for prey to wander close, their routines unfold with gentle regularity. These rhythms are not governed by sunlight or seasons, but by the deep ocean's quiet constancy. Each creature knows when to extend its arms, open its filtering structures, or rise slightly from the seafloor. Their feeding happens in soft intervals, never rushed, never frantic. This predictability allows them to conserve precious energy in a habitat where food arrives slowly and sporadically. As these rhythms repeat across generations, they form a living echo of the deep's ancient stability. Through these calm, repeated patterns, creatures align themselves with a world that values patience, making their daily lives feel like part of a long, unbroken ritual of survival. Deep-sea growth follows slow arcs, unfolding at a pace that matches the quiet stability of the abyss. Creatures here take years or decades to reach maturity. Their tissues strengthen slowly, adapting to pressure, cold, and limited food. Shells thicken grain by grain, bodies lengthen by millimeters, and colonies expand so gradually that change becomes almost invisible. This slow growth ensures resilience, allowing organisms to survive long stretches of scarcity without collapsing. Instead of racing toward adulthood, they stretch their lives into long, gentle curves of development that resist abrupt shifts. These arcs reflect the deep sea's own nature, steady, patient, and enduring. Through this slow unfolding, each creature becomes a quiet testament to survival shaped by time rather than speed, proving that life flourishes even when growth proceeds at the softest imaginable pace. Ancient behaviors persist unchanged in the deep sea, carried through countless generations with little need for alteration. The environment's stability, constant pressure, darkness, cold, and slow currents means that once a behavior proves effective, it remains useful for millions of years. Creatures continue to drift, hover, filter feed, and migrate in the same gentle rhythms their ancestors followed long before humans existed. These behaviors feel almost ceremonial, repeating with a calm certainty that reflects the deep's unbroken continuity. Small motions, soft responses, and quiet routines become timeless traditions written into instinct rather than memory. In this world of slow change, the simplest actions endure, rising at certain currents, sinking at others, opening feeding structures at predictable intervals. Through these ancient, persistent behaviors, the deep reveals a form of life untouched by haste, steady, reliable, and perfectly attuned to an environment that values patience above all. Deep seas show how life endures pressure, revealing a world where survival depends not on force but on softness and quiet adaptation. Creatures in these depths withstand crushing weight by shaping their bodies to bend, compress, and flow with the surrounding water rather than resisting it. Their cells hold fewer air pockets, their tissues become flexible, and their movements slow until they seem part of the pressure itself. This resilience is not dramatic. It is patient, emerging over millennia as life learns to align with the deep's constant weight. By observing how calmly these organisms endure, we sense the Earth's own message about persistence. Strength can come from yielding, and survival from embracing conditions instead of fighting them. The deep sea becomes a living lesson in endurance, showing that even in the harshest environments, life continues through softness, balance, and quiet acceptance. Darkness teaches calm survival strategies, shaping creatures that rely on patience rather than speed. With no sunlight to signal day or night, life moves according to slow internal rhythms, guided by gentle cues like temperature shifts and faint vibrations. In this world of perpetual night, sudden movements waste energy and create unnecessary risks. Instead, creatures conserve strength by hovering, drifting, or using soft gestures to explore their surroundings. Their senses sharpen to detect the smallest changes in pressure or chemical signals, allowing them to navigate the abyss with quiet precision. Darkness becomes not an obstacle but a stabilizing force, encouraging slow feeding, gentle migration, and peaceful coexistence. Through these calm routines, deep-sea animals reveal that survival does not always require urgency. Sometimes, the safest path is the softest one. In the absence of light, they learn to flourish through patience and subtlety. Deep ecosystems stabilize the ocean, forming a quiet foundation that supports life across the entire planet. On the seafloor, countless organisms recycle nutrients, filter organic matter, and maintain chemical balance in ways that unfold slowly but continuously. Their gentle activities prevent dangerous buildups and ensure that the deep remains a stable reservoir for carbon, minerals, and biological remains. These ecosystems act like silent custodians, turning decay into nourishment and transforming the deep into a vast, self-regulating system. The calm rhythms of feeding, drifting, and decomposition create long-term cycles that influence ocean currents, climate patterns, and the health of surface environments. Though hidden in darkness, the deep sea's quiet work sustains the world above. Its stability acts as a steady heartbeat beneath the planet, reminding us that the most vital processes often happen silently, shaped by patience, balance, and enduring calm. Slow growth supports global cycles, allowing deep-sea organisms to anchor long-term patterns that influence the ocean's chemistry and structure. Because life in these depths develops gradually, sometimes over decades, corals, sponges, worms, and countless tiny creatures build structures that last for centuries, trapping nutrients and guiding currents. Their slow expansion stabilizes surrounding habitats, creating environments where other species can thrive. This unhurried growth also supports carbon storage, capturing organic material before it can return to the surface. Each small, patient addition to the seafloor becomes part of a larger system that benefits the entire ocean. By growing slowly and consistently, deep-sea life reinforces the Earth's long cycles, helping maintain balance in ways too subtle to notice, but too important to lose. Their steady presence shows how gradual progress can sustain a planet. Creatures embody patience in pure form, living at a pace shaped entirely by the deep sea's timeless calm. Their movements, feeding habits, and life cycles reflect a world where nothing rushes and every action unfolds with thoughtful precision. They drift instead of chase, wait instead of struggle, and adapt instead of resist. This patience allows them to survive immense pressure. Over generations, these behaviors become deeply ingrained, turning entire species into symbols of endurance and quiet strength. Observing them is like witnessing a living meditation, where survival becomes a gentle practice rather than a battle. Their existence reminds us that patience is not passive, it is resilient, deliberate, and deeply wise. In their calm presence, the deep reveals a profound message. Life can flourish beautifully when it aligns with the slow, steady rhythms of the Earth. Deep calm reflects Earth's ancient memory, holding within its silence the slow history of life long before the first forests or mountains formed. In these motionless depths, the planet's rhythms feel unchanged across millions of years, as though the water itself remembers every cycle that has come before. Creatures move at a pace shaped by this calm, drifting as if guided by the echo of Earth's earliest days. Sediment settles in thin, delicate layers, preserving quiet stories of past climates and vanished species. The stillness becomes a vast archive, recording time not with noise but with softness. This deep calm reveals a truth about the planet, that much of its wisdom lies not in dramatic events, but in the quiet endurance that stretches through ages. In this serene environment, we sense the Earth's long memory breathing through the water. Quiet depths regulate ocean balance, acting as a steady anchor that keeps the entire marine world stable. In the deep, chemical reactions unfold slowly, recycling nutrients and storing carbon in peaceful cycles that influence global currents and surface ecosystems. Creatures feed gently, break down organic matter, and redistribute resources through their soft motions. Even the slow drift of marine snow contributes to this balance, linking surface life with the abyss below. Pressure, darkness, and cold remain constant here, creating a foundation that resists sudden change. As a result, the deep sea becomes a stabilizing force, absorbing shifts, smoothing disturbances, and supporting long-term harmony throughout the ocean. Without these quiet depths, climate patterns and food webs above would collapse. The deep silence is not emptiness, but essential order, a calm center that holds the ocean together with patient, unseen strength. Biodiversity expands in gentle secrecy, flourishing in hidden corners of the deep where life evolves without haste or competition. Strange forms, delicate bodies, and ancient lineages all coexist softly, each finding its own niche within the darkness. New species emerge over long stretches of time, shaped by subtle environmental pressures rather than sudden change. Their interactions create balanced networks, partnerships, symbioses, and quiet exchanges that support entire communities. Because the deep offers stability, organisms can develop slowly, crafting intricate behaviors and unique adaptations in peaceful isolation. This hidden abundance reminds us that life thrives not only in sunlit shallows, but also in silent places far below. The diversity here unfolds like a quiet secret whispered through the water, revealing forms and movements rarely seen by human eyes. In this gentle expansion, the deep shows that nature's creativity is vast, patient, and endlessly soft. Stillness protects fragile deep-sea life, giving vulnerable creatures a chance to survive in an environment where movement can be risky and energy hard to replace. In the deep, remaining still is often safer than moving quickly. Soft-bodied animals avoid injury by drifting gently rather than swimming forcefully. Predators rely on calm ambush rather than frantic pursuit. Even feeding happens with minimal disturbance, using slow filtering, quiet sweeping motions, or delicate extensions of feathery arms. This stillness reduces the chance of attracting danger and conserves precious energy in a world where food arrives slowly. The calm environment also shields fragile structures, thin limbs, gelatinous bodies, and soft tissues that would tear under sudden force. Through stillness, deep-sea creatures find protection not in armor or speed, but in gentleness. Their survival becomes a quiet testament to the power of moving softly through a demanding world. The deep sea moves with timeless peace, its rhythms unfolding so slowly they feel almost eternal. Currents drift like long breaths, carrying life and nutrients across vast distances without urgency. Creatures rise and fall in ancient migration patterns, guided by instincts shaped over millions of years. Sediment settles in silent layers, and bioluminescent glows pulse softly through the darkness. Nothing here rushes. Every action feels intentional, calm, and balanced. This peaceful motion forms the ocean's foundation, influencing climates, ecosystems, and cycles across the entire planet. In the deep, peace is not the absence of life, but the way life endures quietly, patiently, and with profound stability. Watching this timeless movement reminds us that the natural world often thrives at a pace far slower than our own. And in its slow unfolding, we can feel the deep wisdom of Earth itself. As we rise gently from the deepest layers of the ocean, let the quiet images you visited linger softly in your mind. You've drifted beside creatures that move with patient rhythms, watched ancient patterns unfold in absolute darkness, and touched a world where survival is shaped not by speed or strength, but by stillness and calm. Down there, every breath of water carries a lesson. Every slow drift feels like a reminder that life can flourish beautifully when it follows the softest possible pace. The deep does not rush, and tonight, neither should you. The ocean's darkest places have always moved at their own ancient tempo. Long before mountains rose or forests formed, these quiet depths were already holding Earth's oldest memories. Pressure, silence, and shadow shaped life into forms built for patience, for endurance, for gentle coexistence. And as your mind returns from those layers, you may feel that same calm settling into your body, a sense that nothing has to be hurried. That time can stretch softly around you, the way the water does around drifting creatures miles below the surface. Let yourself release the weight of the day the way deep-sea animals release unnecessary movement. They only act when needed. They conserve. They rest. They sink slowly into peace when the world above becomes too chaotic. You can take that same lesson with you now. Allow your shoulders to loosen, your breath to lengthen, and your thoughts to soften until they feel like slow, drifting currents, quiet, unforced, completely natural. If you close your eyes, imagine the deep sea wrapping around you like a cool, calm blanket. Picture the soft glow of bioluminescent creatures drifting in gentle arcs. Picture ancient migrations moving with patience across invisible routes. Picture sediment settling into peaceful layers, forming quiet histories beneath your feet. All of it unfolds with a rhythm that asks nothing from you, except to rest. As you drift into this stillness, remember how the deep holds everything without resistance. It does not struggle to contain its world. It simply allows. You, too, can let tonight unfold without expectation. Let your breath follow a slow pattern, rising and falling like soft waves against a distant shore. Let your mind sink deeper with each exhale, finding the vast, quiet space inside yourself where you can simply be. And if your thoughts wander, let them. The deep sea never forces a current to stay straight. It welcomes every drift, every meander, every soft turn. Allow your mind to do the same. There is nothing to fix, nothing to perfect, just peaceful motion. As your body settles further into rest, feel the deep wisdom of the ocean settling with you. Feel the patience of ancient creatures who have survived unchanged for millions of years. Feel the soft truth that the world does not need you to move quickly to find your place. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to move at the gentle pace of your own inner tide. And now, as the last echoes of the deep fade into quiet, carry with you the calm stillness of those silent waters. Let it guide you toward sleep the way dim bioluminescent trails guide drifting creatures through the dark. Feel yourself surrender to the same softness that shapes life in the abyss, steady, peaceful, timeless. You are drifting now, held by the quiet rhythms of your own breath, moving deeper into rest with every passing moment. Thank you for being here, and for sharing this gentle descent into the ocean's deepest calm. Whenever you need quiet, whenever the world feels too loud, you can return to these waters in your mind. For now, let the quiet take over. Let the darkness soften around you. Let yourself drift. Good night.